Well, you'll excuse me if I'm a little giddy because I'm interviewing the great Dr. Kenneth H. Cooper. He is the father of aerobics. He's written 20 books, and this is his new best-selling book. It's called Grow Healthier as You Grow Older. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is The Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, we have some of the best doctors on the planet in the United States, and unfortunately, I think the whole healthcare system is built on taking care of sick people. Prevention is the key, and a guy who was talking about prevention and wellness before it was cool. In fact, you've got some arrows in your back talking about this in the 60s. Dr. Kenneth H. Cooper. He's the father of aerobics, and he's the author of this new best-selling book that we're going to talk about. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
My pleasure.
Yes. Okay, so I want to take you way back to the 60s. So when you're writing about prevention and getting your body moving, nobody was talking about this back then.
No, in fact, people were critical of anything for exercise, particularly for older people. In fact, when I was in medical school, we were taught past 40 years of age, you don't want to exercise vigorous, you might have a heart attack. Taught in medical school, if you have a heart attack, you must move from a 2-story house to a 1-story house. You can't walk up down a flight of stairs anymore. So if you exercise too much, you get an athletic heart. Athletic heart becomes a muscular heart. Your subacute exercise converts into fat, and you die early. My father had that feeling too, a practicing dentist in Oklahoma, and he was afraid of the fact that I was exercising too much in high school. Made All-State in basketball in Oklahoma City, won the state championship in the mile run, got a scholarship at the University of Oklahoma to run track there, and so my father was convinced I was killing myself. So he never saw me participate. He never saw me run or track me. He never saw me play basketball. My mother did. She supported my endeavors. But he was convinced I was killing myself. But the problem was back in those days, we had only the chest x-ray to show that heart enlarged. And they thought it was muscular. It wasn't just muscular. It was the fact that the left ventricle was dilating. It was getting larger and could pump out more blood with each stroke. Why do you think the resting heart rate goes down in an endurance athlete? Average American male, 72. Average American female, 78. It drops down into the 40s and 50s. Why? Because of conservation of energy. Because the ejection fraction pumps out more blood with each stroke, so you don't have to pump as hard to get the same results. And that's one of the major things that happens becoming aerobicized, if you want to call it that, getting Cooperized. So, but what happened though, my father he didn't keep me from exercising, but he never participated, never supported me about living by 18 years. It's such a tragedy. I didn't know then what I know now. But I was mistaken too. I thought that exercise was just for competition. I didn't recognize that exercise was a factor of health. I realized until I had an epiphany at 29 years of age, when I had gotten out of shape over a period of 6 years, I hadn't done anything but gain weight, medical school, internship, and all that. Didn't have time to exercise. I didn't think it was important, that kind of thing. And so what happened then, I had an epiphany at 29 years of age when I weighed 204 pounds, and I weighed 160, 168 when I was in high school and college. And then I went water skiing, and I had attack to chest pain while I was trying to ski a slalom course. They got me over to the side, back to the beach there. I stretched out, chest pain went away, heart came back to normal. So the next day I was still in the Air Force, and I was invited with the School of Aerospace Medicine in San Antonio. Doc, the only thing wrong with you, you're out of shape. Hypertense, pre-diabetic. And I thought, my gosh, I did get this taken care of. I lost the weight within 6 months. From my first marathon a year later, ran for 40 years, 30,000 miles, and all these symptoms disappeared. So that changed my career. I'd planned to becoming an ophthalmologist. After I finished my internship in Seattle, I made arrangements. I'd finish my 2 years in the military, become an ophthalmologist, and to go through that training in Portland, Oregon. But I saw that for what happened to me. This is a field of medicine sadly ignored. But going by medical school days, we were taught that preventive medicine is the Cinderella of the medical specialty because there's no profit in health. And most physicians still think that. But we proved that to be wrong because we've had a tremendous success in just concentrating on keeping people healthy. And that's the whole concept, the books I've been writing and the one that's featured in this book.
Outstanding. Much more from Dr. Cooper in a minute. We found a great video that the Dallas Morning News did on you several years ago, but it does a good job of talking about your career. Let's go ahead and roll that video.
A little bit faster, 3.6 miles an hour. I could never predict what I'd be doing at the present time, all over the world. And to be 87 years of age, I never thought I'd get this old. My father died at 77. I'd already outlived him by 10 years. Now I'm going to go through some exercise on the equipment. The whole world's holding up to us because we're proving that preventive medicine's here to stay. 18, 19, 20. Now keep in mind, when I was in medical school back in the 50s, we were taught that preventive medicine was a Cinderella of the medical specialists because there's no profit in health. The profit's in disease. Look at this fantastic races we have here now. And I'm happy to say it's all paid for. Chuck, good to see you.
Good to see you again. How are you?
21st century medicine is at least proper weight, proper nutrition, and proper exercise. You have to combine all of them. You just can't just concentrate just on one, if you want to control your weight. But remember, your health is your responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the government, the insurance company, or physician. It's what you do for yourself. How long you live and how well you live, and hopefully square off the curve. That's my goal. Live a long, healthy life to the fullest, and then die suddenly. My life will be complete. The first step in getting fit is to avoid inactivity. Just try to walk collective or sustained at least 30 minutes most days per week. They can increase the life expectancy by at least 6 years and reduce deaths from all causes by 58%. As you get older, you need to incorporate more weight training. During your youth, you have good muscle mass up to about 50 years of age. If you don't do something after 50 years of age, you're going to lose muscle mass. Let's do something along with that. 29 and 30. That concludes my workout.
And that video was done several years ago. Do you still work out like that?
Sure do. I finished the day with now, I'm going to come on my bicycle for 30 minutes. After that, I get about 10 minutes of weight training. I've done that because I use that, well, there's 8 things we recommend in Cooper. I should control the stress in my life. Exercise the other day, have no trouble with sleeping, sleep regularly. And remember, part of controlling stress, that you need to get at least 7 hours of sleep per night, too. So I have no difficulty with that.
And you sleep like a baby.
I sleep like a baby.
Okay. Let's talk about your new best-selling book. We're going to put a graphic up on the screen so you can see this. You've written 20 books, which is amazing. Do you consider this one of your finest books?
I really do, because this encompasses 2 things. First, it's not a biography, it's a story of my life. But the second thing, it condenses the time of the 700 published articles we have in peer-reviewed journals, bridging that gap between faddism and scientific legitimacy, exercise the practice of medicine that results in depression to be ignored. That's what this book is doing. Number one is trying to focus on the point that your health, how long you live, how well you live, is what you do for yourself, not what the government does for you, insurance company does for you, or what the physicians do for you, unless they've been trained in preventive medicine or lifestyle medicine. So that's the most important part. The second thing, we're trying to resurrect the whole practice of preventive medicine being a realistic practice. Physicians say, I don't know anything about preventive medicine. I don't know anything about exercise physiology or nutrition. I learned that at Harvard School of Public Health. For 2 years I was there, where I got a master's in public health, exercise physiology degree. So I learned it outside of medical school. So we have documentaries now for physicians and for medical students to try to get them embraced on that. So you have to do that. So again, trying to get physicians to embrace this concept it's been an important thing. But the final thing in the book is a summary, really, those 700 articles we've published, proving without question that exercise is medicine.
Wow. I'm so impressed with you. And he's 94 years young, and you have a twinkle in your eye. In your mind, are you 20 years old in your mind?
No, I can still pass the MOCA test. That's the brain test we use all the time. There's a few people in politics I wish we'd have taken the MOCA test. So
yes.
I can assure you. No, we do that, and we found, as we've proven, that people that are on top levels of fitness, that this 25-year follow-up on people from 75 years of age, the top category of fitness, they had 36% less Alzheimer's dementia. And now a major article came out from the Mayo Clinic newsletter in talking about looking again at dementia and Alzheimer's. But the major thing that you have to concentrate on is trying to prevent it.
Yes.
And trying to buy all these cures for Alzheimer's, spend all this money. We spend way too much of a health service dollar on desperate measures that often prolongs death, not life, a miserable few days. Yes. That's a mistake that we have. Our patients been coming to the clinic for over a 45-year period, we got 100,000 patients in the study, come to the clinic at least 20 times, showing the value of the examination at the clinic. They're living 10 years longer than the national average. And they're squaring off the curve, live a long, healthy life, the fullest and dying suddenly. If I die tomorrow, praise the Lord, I've had a good life. At an average age of 90.4 years for our women, 86.5 years for our men, that's 88.6 years. That is almost 10 years longer with the average American. So we've proven you'll live longer and live better by squaring off the curve. And all that, we rank 47th in longevity. We spend too much money in the wrong way because we got to stop and regroup and try to show you can prolong your life, quality of life, as I'm showing by my example. And you can reduce the cost of care. You can do all these things that I mentioned. We call that the Medicare projects that we have.
And I think one of your keys is if you get your body moving, it helps with everything, mind, body, soul. You don't have to be on a cocktail of medicines because we all know people who are taking 20 pills a day. And who knows how those pills are interacting. Is your goal to get people off of prescription drugs if you can?
And what is good for the heart is good for the brain. Keep that in mind, too. And try to get people just to concentrate on basics. I take, as a part of one of our basic recommendations, is a proper diet. 5 is fine, 9 is fine. Number of servings of fruits and vegetables should be consuming on a daily basis. That's my basic rule for proper diet. But then I add to that vitamin supplementation. I take a multivitamin daily along with 5,000 units of vitamin D. Why? Because we saw during the COVID epidemic that if people had a high level of vitamin D, they were less likely to be hospitalized and die from it, because that suppresses that cytokine storm, which causes the problem with the COVID. People ask me about articles with Decision Magazine, the Billy Graham organization, every other month. Do I need to keep taking vitamin D since we don't have a problem with COVID at the present time? Yes, because these viruses come along every 3 or 4 years. Keep taking it. So all the things we recommend are things you can do for yourself. That's the important thing. To get the message out, you don't have to go to a physician, pay big dollars, but you can do these things for yourself, which are very simple. But the number one on that list has to be your exercise program.
Well, I've been to your campus in North Dallas many times, and we're going to pull up your website. You've created, I'm going to call it a Taj Mahal of wellness. And so you're there at like Forest and Preston. And how long have you been at this location?
Well, but we were just a downtown location for only 2.5 years, since we've been in Dallas now for 55 years. So we've been out here for about, well, we were actually taking over the whole, we started with just 8.6 acres. Now we have 30 acres. And so it was that big, 1970. So from 1971, we moved out to our current location.
Wow. Well, one of the things I liked about that video that we showed earlier is you show up every day. You're shaking hands and kissing babies, so to speak.
Signing books as I walk in the door.
That has to feel good.
It does feel good. And say so many people tell me, Dr. Cooper, you saved my life. I hear that so frequently, and I say, praise the Lord when I hear that, because I give God the credit for everything I've accomplished, because I use Bible verses all the time. One of my favorite Bible verses is Isaiah 40:31. And what it says, those who wait upon the Lord renew their strength. They mount wings and soar like eagles, and they run and not be weary, and they walk and not faint. That's in Isaiah, the first part of the Bible. It says in Genesis or Bible, less than 120 years. They're less than 120 years because of design deficiency. It's because of the way we treat our bodies. If we treat our bodies by taking care of ourselves, we may live. We may find that 100 is the normal. If I make 100, praise the Lord, but I'll just be happy to live tomorrow.
Okay, so I know you got arrows in your back in the 60s and 70s when you were first evangelizing wellness and prevention. Have some of those critics come around and apologized to you and said, Dr. Cooper, I should not have shot arrows?
Many. I've had a lot of critics, but have already passed away, so I've outlived them. That's the way to get over your critics. But no, I think the classic was Dallas County Medical Society when they didn't support me during the early days and came by the other day, want to recognize your accomplishments. And now I appreciated that. Now they gave me an honorary membership and Dallas County Medical Society, and we're having a big event now, invitation for members of Dallas County Medical Society to come out and have a tour of our center, and I'll lecture to them sometime in November. So that's a real turnaround.
That is so awesome. And I love it that you're so active. I mean, I hope to be you one day. I hope to have your longevity. What are your goals? I mean, you're still a young man, 94, so you've got more stuff to do. What do you want to do in the next 10 years?
As long as the Lord keeps me alive, I'm going to keep working. I like what Zig Ziglar once said. He said, you don't retire, you refire. And so I'm not planning on retiring. I enjoy it. I enjoy going to work.
That's beautiful.
Work is with me, it's fun.
And Dr. Cooper, we're now seeing like young people who should have healthy hearts having heart attacks in their 20s and 30s, which is almost unimaginable.
Yeah, and that's not an act of God, that's an act of man, too. It was amazing in the Korean conflict, and they did autopsies on men with an average age of 22 years and already had significant obstruction of the coronary arteries at 22 years of age. So that's diet inactivity. And so we have ways to change that. Medication can be used to control the cholesterol. Just don't ignore things.
Yes.
Just people think that I don't have any problems, not to worry about that. But keep in mind, the most common first symptom of severe underlying coronary disease is sudden death. The only symptom they have. 40% of people die from heart attacks. That's the only symptom they have. People come into our clinic thinking they're perfectly healthy, put them on the treadmill. We find 16.1% are abnormal equivocal, but only 5% who have a problem. So for 5% of the people coming through hadn't had a problem. We find that 10% of the people coming through, we find a problem then, and we can do CT angiograms while they're there. We get them in the hospital, do angioplasty and stents, we have bypass surgery. That happens 3 or 4 times a week when they think they're perfectly healthy. So don't die of something. Don't die of something stupid.
Yes, and we've talked a little bit about movement, and you got to be doing something with your body. They also
avoid inactivity.
Avoid inactivity. Clearly,
Let me tell you as far as something. There was a study published by WHO that 500 million people worldwide are totally inactive. And they pointed out that's costing some $47 billion a year. Over a decade, it'd be over $400 billion. That's because they're correcting diseases related to inactivity. Just think of that. That's a cost of health care that could be completely reversed just by avoiding inactivity. But 500 million people worldwide are totally inactive.
all right, let's talk about diet, because
Diet is very important.
yes,
But again, you can't ignore that. But it used to be just exercise, thought you needed. But that's why I wrote my 5th book, The Aerobics Program, Total Well-Being. You need diet, you need exercise, you need stress management, all these various things. But a diet, I try to make it simple. If I just get people to get more fruits and vegetables daily in their diet and take the vitamins that I mentioned, that's the basic thing. Now, if you want to go on top of that, ideally it would be something like a Mediterranean diet or some of the DASH diets, things of that type. There's things you can do that attack your problem, like the DASH diet is dietary to control hypertension. With that. So there's things you can do without resorting to medications.
well, I think we live in a society where everybody has an excuse, but it's never too late to start.
Let me
So
tell you what,
even-
that's my
right?
acronym. What the excuse people give? TEMMP. Keep this in mind. TEMMP. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the motivation. I don't have the money. I don't have the place, and it's not fun. That's the excuses I hear all the time.
But it can start with just walking around the block.
That's exactly, walk the dog whether you have one or not. And my 2 dogs make me walk whether I like it or not, I can assure you.
All right, Dr. Cooper, we're almost out of time, unfortunately. So talk to the viewer about the person who's watching this. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They know they need to do something. What is the first step?
If you want to be inactive, just prepare to be sick, because you're going to be sick, because you can change that. But the big thing I want to point out to people are physically fit, they're less depressed, they're less of a hypochondriac, improved self-image, much more positive attitude towards life. And that's published in peer-reviewed journals. So there's a quality of life that can exist for you just to make you feel good. Forget about longevity and all that. I want to feel better. So many people are depressed all the time. So if you have that goal and you get that so easily, and even if preventing strokes, preventing Alzheimer's, you can see the psychiatric changes in your life. Don't you want that? I've had some people thank me, Dr. Cooper, for what you told me. I wish I'd known it 15, 20 years ago. I was missing so much of my life, the good life, because I wasn't participating in your program.
Wow. You are so inspirational. I aspire to be you. Even if I could have a fraction of your life, I would have lived a good life. We're going to end with his website, which is CooperAerobics.com. The great Dr. Kenneth H. Cooper. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
I appreciate you so much. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.